Welcome into the Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. On today's show, we have the latest Baltimore Ravens news and rumors, those surrounding J.K. Dobbins, as well as the Ravens wide receiving core. Will they add a veteran? More on that in just a moment. Let's start out with the latest on J.K. Dobbins. A report from NFL Network's Ian Rapoport this afternoon stated the following from NFL Now. Ravens running back J.K. Dobbins is no sure thing for Week 1. He hasn't had any setbacks, but his knee injury was a serious one, and Baltimore has no incentive to rush him back. They protected themselves with veteran Mike Davis regardless. And not even 20 minutes later, J.K. Dobbins responded to Rap Sheet's quote, and here's what he said. Okay, I'm tired of being quiet. Come to me for your source at Rap Sheet, because I might not even go on PUP because that's how good my rehab is going, and I'm damn sure going to be ready for Week 1. So how about that from J.K. Dobbins? A little chippy at Ian Rapoport. He's hungry to play, and I can't blame him. I have no issue with him calling out Ian Rapoport and having a little back-and-forth exchange. To me, that shows the passion that J.K. Dobbins has, that he's ready to go Week 1 or not. And, you know, if for whatever reason he can't play Week 1, if the progress isn't there, that's not the end of the world. Rap Sheet is right to an extent here of that there's no need to rush him back when you have the depth that the Ravens have with the running backs in this Baltimore Ravens running back room here. I'm excited to see what J.K. Dobbins is ultimately going to do this year. We're going to go over some numbers on J.K. Dobbins of what he did the last time we saw him on the football field in just a second. But before we get to any of that, our question of the day, our pinned comment on the rundown, will J.K. Dobbins play Week 1? What say you? What do you think is going to happen for the Baltimore Ravens running back? If you think he'll start and play Week 1, type Y for yes. If you do not think he will be back in time for Week 1, then type N for no. You're about to get an ad break. Take advantage of it while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let me know one way or the other if you think J.K. Dobbins is going to be back for Week 1. Y for yes, N for no. The last time we saw J.K. Dobbins, he was pretty dang good for the Baltimore Ravens. You have to go back to 2020 when he had 134 carries, 805 yards, average of 6 yards per carry, and 9 touchdowns. He was splitting the workload with Gus Edwards and was fantastic. And now you look at this Ravens depth chart, and I know that J.K. wants to get back out there so fast and make this return, but you can see the depth that's there. This is a really good running back room. Gus Edwards has proven that he's capable. Mike Davis was a good signing from the Atlanta Falcons. The coaching staff have spoke highly about Mike Davis, of what he's been able to do throughout OTAs. Justice Hill, we haven't seen a whole lot of, but then Tyler Badie, the day 3 selection out of Missouri, was terrific last year, and the coaching staff seems pretty high on him of what he's been able to do throughout these summer months. So with that said, I want to see J.K. Dobbins out there. I think that he's a really good running back, and he could have a big year this year. But to Rap Sheet's point, I see where the Ravens could want to slow down this process, not want to rush J.K. Dobbins back, because there's no need to rush him out there before he's 100% ready. I want to see J.K. Dobbins have a big year, but let's see this done the right way. I'm okay with Baltimore taking their time and making sure they get this right. J.K. wants to be out there. No one's questioning his passion, his intensity, his love for the game, any of that. I think it's just finding that happy medium and making sure that he's out there when he's ready, not rushing him back too early as far as that goes. But it's good to hear, at least from J.K., that he thinks he's ready to go for Week 1. Got a great offer that we are putting out there for our viewers of the Ravens Rundown, a T-shirt combination. Look, it is hot outside, folks. You got to be wearing your Ravens gear, and you got to have T-shirts, right? Whether you are out for a jog, mowing the yard, whatever it may be, a little workout in you, rep your favorite team right now. Training camp is just around the corner, just over a week away. Get your Ravens t-shirts now and have yours in time for the start of football season. We're going to offer you a special deal that's 40% off for this combination while supplies last. You can get yours now at chatsports.com/ballcombo. 40% off. That's chatsports.com/ballcombo. BALCOMBO. Get yours today. All right, let's talk about the Ravens wide receiving core now. We received an update today from The Athletic that the Ravens will likely add a veteran wide receiver. Here was the report that came out today. It still feels like that the Ravens bring in a veteran receiver at some point. However, unless DaCosta, that's referring to the Ravens GM, by the way, has a major surprise up his sleeve, it's hard to believe that that player will alter what the Ravens do offensively. So, if that report is true, if it all works out the way it does, here's what that tells me. It says that a trade for a wide receiver is unlikely at this point, that the Ravens are not going to spend the money and give up the capital that it would take to bring in a high-profile wide receiver. That's what it tells me there. It does tell me, though, that the Ravens are looking at the wide receiver market in free agency, that they're weighing their options there to see what they can do, where they could add a piece to be a number 2 or number 3 receiver potentially. Not a huge impact, but an impact nonetheless. And we'll get you the names of who they could be looking at when it comes to free agent wide receivers in just a moment. But as the wide receiving core, where it stands right now, what is your confidence level? I want to know in the comments section. If you had to scale it 1 to 100, put a number on it, how confident are you in the Ravens wide receiving core? We're hearing from a lot of doubters these days. Everyone has something to say, it seems, about this Ravens wide receiving core. But as you, the fan, where's your confidence level in this group right now without adding anyone else? Let me know in the comments section. Type 1 through 100 where your confidence is on the Ravens wide receiving core. And if the Ravens do make a move, if they add a wide receiver, you're going to be the first to know here on Ravens Rundown. We're covering this team like no one else is, whether it's news, rumors, trades, free agency, and more. We are going to be all over it here on the Ravens Rundown. As we count you down to kickoff, we'll be covering training camp like no one else. Make sure you subscribe now, youtube.com/RavensTV. Turn on the notifications so you never miss a moment of what's happening with your favorite team, youtube.com/RavensTV. So here is a group of receivers, about 4 of them on the free agent market right now. Odell Beckham Jr., Julio Jones, Will Fuller, and Emmanuel Sanders, all available. They all have had success at points in their careers, but they've all dealt with injuries as well. I think any of those 4 receivers would fall in line with this report from The Athletic that says it wouldn't be a drastic change for the Ravens. Any 4 of these guys would be your number 2 or number 3 receiver potentially. They're not going to beat out Rashad Bateman and be your number 1 guy. I mean, you look at this group. Rashad Bateman takes over as your number 1 receiver after the departure of Hollywood Brown. And the discussions around this Ravens camp is that losing Hollywood Brown wasn't that big of a deal. That now it's about seeing what you can do to get these young guys to grow up pretty quick. Because last year, the returning receivers, there's just not a whole lot of production for the roles that they're about to take on. They have big shoes to fill, essentially, with what is going to be asked of them. Hollywood Brown did not have the numbers of a true number 1 wide receiver, but there still is some things missing that this team has to pick up on to fill those shoes of some sort. So of those 4 options, if I had to choose, I think I'd lean towards Julio Jones personally. We don't know when Odell's going to be back with the injury that he suffered in the Super Bowl, but all 4 options, if you don't have to pay a whole lot, I don't think it's a bad idea for the Ravens at this point in time if they don't have to spend too much on any of those 4. Julio would be my first choice, but we'll see what happens as far as that goes with these wide receivers. How about you guys? Your chance to be the GM now. Who is a wide receiver the Ravens should sign? All indications point to that they'll get a wide receiver this summer, likely through free agency. If you had to choose, who would you sign of a wide receiver out there? Whether it was one of those 4 we listed or someone else, let me know in the comment section. And thanks for joining us here on the Ravens Rundown.